Okay, let's dive into this. What if I told you that some of the most ancient texts out there have some shockingly, and I mean shockingly, relevant advice for our modern digital lives? We're about to look at a command that sounds, well, totally extreme, but it might just be the key to finding some real focus and purity in this age of nonstop distraction.
Here it is, straight from the book of Matthew. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. Whoa, that's incredibly intense, right? And when you first hear that, you can't help but ask a pretty alarming question. Is this really a command for self-harm? Is the text literally telling people to mutilate themselves? Well, the short answer is no, definitely not. But the real answer? That's way more interesting and honestly a lot more profound.
So what is the real meaning here? To get to the bottom of it, we have to look at the context. This isn't a medical directive, obviously. It's a powerful rhetorical tool, something designed to deliver a message that you will absolutely never forget.
And that tool has a name. It's called hyperbole. It's a deliberate, almost shocking exaggeration that's meant to jolt us awake. It forces us to grapple with a really critical spiritual principle. It's designed to be unforgettable for a reason. So let's just put it out there crystal clear. This is not about literal self-mutilation. What it is about is a call for radical spiritual action. It's about being willing to take these massive, decisive, uncompromising steps to protect our spiritual health. But why the right eye and the right hand specifically? Well, back then, these symbolized the things that were most precious to you, the most valuable and useful things in your life. We're talking about your most important tools, your go-to habits, maybe even your closest relationships. And this really gets to the core of it. The idea is that the eternal consequence of sin, those things that pull us away from our spiritual goals, is so incredibly serious that it's worth sacrificing any earthly pleasure or convenience to avoid it. Your spiritual well-being basically trumps everything else. Okay, so how does this ancient idea actually apply to us, right here, right now? Let's talk about today's stumbling blocks, what our modern right hands and right eyes really are.
And I want you to really think about this for a second. What are your most valuable, most useful habits or tools that might also be leading you into trouble? The things you feel like you just can't live without. Generally, you'll find they fall into two main buckets. First, there's our leisure time, the stuff we do for fun, like endless gaming or scrolling through social media. And second, there's our work life, the environment where we can face temptations like greed, pride, or dishonesty. So what does this radical action, this symbolic cutting it off, actually look like in the real world? The key insight here is that it's not about moderation. It's about eliminating the source of the problem, period.
So let's take excessive gaming. If you find it's making you neglect your responsibilities or it's making you angry, the radical action isn't just, oh, I'll play a little less. No, it's setting hard, non-negotiable timers, installing website blockers, or even just uninstalling the game completely. It's about removing the pathway to the problem.
And it's the exact same for social media. If you realize it's just this constant source of envy or comparison or anxiety for you, the solution has to be just as decisive. This means unfollowing every account that triggers those feelings, setting strict app limits that you actually stick to, or maybe even taking a complete digital fast for a week or a month to totally reset your brain. Now, what about work? If your job has become an idol, if it's eating up all your time and energy, then cutting it off means setting firm boundaries, like no emails after 7 p.m., period. Actually taking all of your vacation time. It means reclaiming your life from the grip of your job. And this is a tough one. What if your workplace pressures you to be dishonest? The radical action here is to choose integrity over profit, full stop. It means refusing to go along with unethical stuff, even if, and this is the hard part, even if it comes at a personal or professional cost to you. Okay, so the crucial part is turning this big idea into a personal framework. It's not just an interesting concept. It's a call to action. And here's a simple 3-step response you can use to do just that. But before we get to the steps, just remember the goal here. This is all about a radical reprioritization. It's about consciously, actively choosing your long-term spiritual health over any short-term pleasure or convenience. That's the whole mindset. Okay, here we go. Step 1, be brutally honest with yourself. No excuses, no justifying. Ask, where do I consistently fall short? Step 2, take decisive action.
Don't just try to manage the problem, eliminate the source. Unfollow it, block it, unsubscribe, get rid of it. And finally, step 3, cultivate purity. Remember, removing the external thing is just a tool. The real goal is internal, a change of heart.
You know, ultimately, this isn't about achieving perfection all by ourselves. It's about balance. We're called to be absolutely ruthless with the sin in our lives, but at the very same time, we can rest in the grace that makes that whole fight possible in the first place. So, what right hand do you need to deal with today?